the India-UK Business Convention 2015.
Let me bring in the questions from the audience. I'm going to start with the left. If you could raise your hands, please, we will get a microphone across to you.
There seems to be a mismatch between the rhetoric, very welcome rhetoric about the openness of the UK that you gave us, and the perception in India. But among my business friends, the kids of my business friends who want to go to college, and those people who are looking to move to another country for opportunity, the perception is the UK is a difficult place to get into, to get a visa. And it's possibly because of the politics of UKIP, the images we see on our television set of what's happening in Europe. But Indians believe the UK is a difficult place at the moment. Could you put ourselves at rest on this?
Perception is absolutely not the reality. So you're talking about skills and studying. There is absolutely no limit on the number of foreign students, including Indian students, that can apply and come to the UK and study. And a huge number of both British universities and colleges I know they will come to India and help with that application process. They'll talk and promote about what they've got to offer, because they know, rightly, they need to compete with maybe Australia or the US or other places. One of the government's roles in that is making sure that the visa process is as straightforward as possible. It's quick, it's clean, it's not expensive. And in fact, I'll go further. We have a very clear rule that once you graduate in the UK, as I say, if you're a foreign student, you come to the UK, you graduate, you can stay and work in the UK as long as it's a graduate level job, and there is no cap, no restriction on that either. And so these are the messages that we need to do, I think, do more to get out there.
As a British Indian, I'd be interested to hear your views on what role you see for the British Indian community in the India-UK business relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, I do think when you look at multinational companies like ours based out of Britain, I mean, one of the things I'm most excited about our acquisition in India is deepening those ties. We have 2 members on our executive committee of Indian origin. The talent base that sits with not just British Indians, but Indian Indians, and the interchange and opportunity to build a global talent base, I think, is fantastic. So I think it's only going to strengthen. And I do believe the 1.5 million British Indians have a huge role to really drive what we're talking about here in terms of this incredible combination of creating a future where we are driving far more growth and interdependency between these 2 great countries.
My question to you is, how are we looking at the manufacturing sector, and what are we doing to promote the sector, especially manufacturing of quality products in India?
We had a round table on this very issue yesterday with Secretary Amitabh Kant, and extremely interesting to hear about, first of all, the absolute focus on quality that the Prime Minister himself has set in terms of Make in India. And as you will know very well, Prime Minister Modi has set this ambition of 0 defect and 0 effect. So really trying to marry the need for sustainable and environmentally sustainable manufacturing with top quality. And the point of the roundtable yesterday was to look at the experience in UK companies, in Rolls-Royce, in Mott MacDonald, in Augusta Westland, in many, many others, JCB, who are world leaders in terms of quality manufacturing and who want to do more manufacturing here in India. And I think the message that came out of that was that, for instance, BSI, British Standards Institute, is working and wants to work even more closely with the quality bodies of India to ensure that the transformation in quality manufacturing that India's seen in its auto component sector now spreads into defence and aerospace, into textiles, into every one of the sectors where India's got a real opportunity in, if you like, the way that Japan helped to set standards for 20th century manufacturing. India has an opportunity to set the standard for zero defect, zero effect manufacturing in the 21st century.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately we've run out of time. So my final question to you, Minister. You've spoken about where things currently stand, the areas of opportunity, the kind of potential and promise that both countries enjoy. Is there an aspiration in terms of where bilateral trade ought to be in the next 5 years?
There is. I mean, bilateral trade at the moment, I think, is about £16 billion. And it has been sort of increasing gradually over a number of years. I think last year, actually, probably slightly it fell for a number of reasons. But, you know, we don't actually sort of sit there in my department put an actual number and just target the number. We would like it to be as strong as possible. I think the key is it's got to be bilateral. We strongly believe that it's got to be two ways and it will benefit us both in the long term. But, you know, personally, I'd like to think in a few years, within 4 or 5 years, we can double that number. I really think we can, and events like this certainly help make that a reality.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much, Patricia and Mr. Menezes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
The India-UK Business Convention 2015.